Hello guys and gals, and this is The Discovery of Dragons, new research revealed by Graeme Base, a.k.a. Rowland W. Greasebeam, BSc. It includes North American dragons. And I really like this because even the pages are kind of, I don't know if you can see in the video, but these are kind of really shiny gold leaf pages, which are really, really nice. And we'll start, of course, for all the dragons in my life, Graeme Base. We could probably read this too. We're going to take this opportunity to do a little reading. I was wanting to do this to see exactly how long or how many episodes this would take, but we're going to do this. Mr. Greasebeam would also like to extend his appreciation to his dear wife and to the many and varied personages whose input has helped make this publication the wonderful creation that it undoubtedly is. Most notably, the highly esteemed Leslie Dunt and the long-suffering Kathy Larson, and the ever-patient Roderick Davies, Esquire, without whom, etc., etc. Furthermore, with regards to the revised edition, Mr. Greasebeam wishes to grudgingly acknowledge the valiant efforts of Michelle. It needs another comma. Madden. Jane. Do you think so? Godwin. Elizabeth. It looks okay to me. Diaz, and splitting images, indescribable Mick. What's a comma anyways? Smith took the rest of the day off. Take the rest of the day off. Okay. And I really like this picture here. I think I'll probably end every single episode of this because it's just such a nice little visual. Abram Books for Young Readers. Okay. And we're going to read the introduction first. An overview of Serpentology on the occasion of the 11th anniversary edition, 1908. It is all too common in this age of rising house prices and expensive overseas travel for unscrupulous authors to attempt to boost lagging sales through the deplorable practice of publishing so-called 10th anniversary editions. I have steadfastly resisted the temptation to indulge in such tasteless acts of commercial self-interest, instead waiting until the 11th anniversary to release this fully updated new edition of my immensely readable and broadly informative book. The Discovery of Dragons, first published to critical acclaim in 1897. Astute readers will note that there have been absolutely no changes made to the original text of the book. This is due to the fact that it was completely perfect in every way. However, those same readers will be delighted and amazed by the addition of a brand new chapter, revealing a whole new serpentological genus, the New World Dragon. Whilst certain members of the scientific community are still determined to oppose me, and I note with sadness that my one-time colleague, Marty Fibblewitz, continues, even after all these years, to side with the doubters, I remain resolute that the letters available to me 10 years ago, 11, documenting the first human-dragon interactions, prove that the discovery of dragons can be rightly credited to three historical figures. Bjorn the Brahm, a 9th century Viking, Sung Mei Ying, youngest daughter of an obscure 13th century Chinese silk trader, and Dr. E. F. Lieberman, an even more obscure 19th century Prussian cartographer and amphibiologist. I think I said that right. However, it is with great pride and modest expectations of significant personal gain that I now introduce to the world of serpentology a new name, Francisco de Nuevo. The fact that you must buy a whole new book in order to find out about him, unless you are one of those despicable people who read books and then put them back on the shelf, it's not my fault. Is not my fault. Professor Rowland W. Greasebeam, BSc Serpentology, Fr. Odd, Melbourne. Editor, Melbourne. Okay. And the discovery of European dragons. It says here, the letters of Bjorn the Brahm. With its leathery hide and distinctive flared nostrils, the European dragon is to many people the very essence of dragonhood. However, The widely held belief that all European dragons belch fire and smoke is incorrect. The only true pyroprojectile dragon in the group is the Emerald Dragon of Ireland. See page 6. The Great Snow Dragon of Greenland often mimics the effects of releasing quantities of superheated steam into the frozen Arctic air, creating a sparkling cloud of phosphorescent gas. And the Welsh Red has been known to smolder on occasion, but neither is a true fire breather. When Bjorn of Brom first set sail from his fjord-ringed homeland towards ancient Britain, his thoughts were of looting and pillaging, as was generally the case with 9th century Vikings. But the remarkable man was destined to become far more than just a simple-minded, lice-infested Nordic barbarian. In the words of Professor Marty Fibowitz, if you ask me, this Bjorn of Brom fellow was a complete and utter genius, and this from a man who has since found it necessary to ridicule me and my ideas at every opportunity, presumably because he knows his own feeble efforts at getting published will only result in a garage full of books that no one wants to buy, whilst my work is even now being closely considered for reprinting. So there. In the letters that follow, it will become clear that Bjorn of Brom can rightly be credited with the discovery of the four main species of European dragon. The only possible exception is the St. George dragon, first noted by Bjorn's fellow seafarer Sigurd of Sweden. However, it can be argued that Sigurd would never have been in Spain in the first place if not for the navigational skills of his famed captain. So I like to think that Bjorn can, to some extent, take credit for this discovery as well. Okay, now with these, you see they're all written in cursive. And I translated all these, wrote them out, and I have them on my tablet here. I emailed them to myself so I would have them on my tablet. And I will be reading these while we look at the pictures of the dragons. First of all, we'll read the letterhead. Bjorn of Brom, Viking, general looting and pillaging, gratuitous violence and specialty, no job too small, 12 West Fjord Road, Valhalla Meadows, Norway. 2. Olaf the Grim, 33 Viking Way, Valhalla Meadows, Norway. Greenland, 6th of April, AD 856. Dear Olaf, bad news, I'm afraid. Got lost on the way to Britain and have ended up in a barren land completely covered in snow and ice. Thought I'd call it Greenland. Sorry about the mix-up. Hope looting and pillaging went well. The wildlife here is a bit startling, I can tell you. The boys and I went out hunting for something to eat last week, and a blizzard blew up. Couldn't see a thing. All of a sudden, these 3 huge bird lizard monster things came rushing out of the snow, screeching and flapping their wings. It looked like those big ugly carvings we got on the pointy end of our ships to scare the ancient Britain with. What are they called again? Noggins or drogons or something? Dragons. Anyways, scared me half to death they did. Poor Sven didn't even stand a chance. The rest of us will be heading home soon, but I thought we'd just have a quick look around first, see what else turns up. Should be back in time for the midsummer rampage. Fond regards, your affectionate cousin, Bjorn of Brom. P.S. I call the discovery the Great Sven-Eating Dragon, on account of how poor old Sven got eaten and all. Actually, I've been wondering where Lars has got to over the last couple of days. Maybe there's a great Lars-eating dragon around too. I'll let you know. Okay, that was the first one. That was just the cursive writing, all this right here. Now, at the bottom it says, subsequently renamed the Great Snow Dragon by the editor. Plate 1. Great Snow Dragon, pictured here very much like Bjorn of Brom, must have first seen them. 3 great snow dragons emerged screeching from a swirling Arctic tempest in search of unsuspecting Nordic riffraff. Note the clouds of superheated steam issuing from their nostrils. Yeah, you can kind of see that, especially on that one. Anyways, and we're right here. This is, they're bigger than a horse, basically. Because there's a horse and then there's a dragon. And, yeah. And up there, I think, is where they're from. Anyways, here is there's pictures along the bottom. Which is kind of like a tale of what happened, I guess. And there's Sven getting eaten, apparently. So, anyways, on to the next page. And, again, this is in cursive, and I have this over on my tablet, so I'm going to read this off. Bjorn of Brom, Viking and explorer, experienced in dragon work. It's spelled D-R-A-G-Y-N, by the way, not dragon, dragon. 12 Westford Road, Fjord Road, Valhalla Meadows, Norway. 2 Olaf the Disagreeable, 33 Viking Way, Valhalla Meadows, Norway, Ireland, 23rd of June, A.D. 856. Dear Olaf, I was wrong about the Lars-eating dragon. It was just the great Sven-eating dragon again. Again, this is dragon spelled D-R-A-G-Y-N. They spelled it different. Anyways, and so we have this, there. Okay. Where was it? Looks like I'll have to change the name to the Great Sven and Lars-Eating Dragon. Or should I just settle for the shorter Bjorn's Viking-Eating Dragon and be done with it? Making decisions like this is all part of being a great explorer, you know. Sorry to hear the raid was a bit of a flop, but I don't see how it was all my fault. I can't help it if the ancient Britons are onto us and have moved inland. Frankly, I think the bottom is falling out of the whole Viking business, and we should look at reindeer farming or something instead. Anyways, after Lars got eaten, I decided to set sail for home, but things haven't worked out from a navigational standpoint on this trip. We sailed due east for 3 weeks and there's a mistake here. Decided to sail home, then headed northward, expecting, there it is, northward. I left a word out. Head northward, expecting to hit the coast somewhere near the Happy Home Health Club. The boys hoped we might even stop in for a sauna, but somehow we've ended up in a place called Ireland. I think you might need to start the rampage without us. Oh, Ireland. I wonder if they met Jacksepticeye. Interesting news on the dragon front, however. The other day, Dagbar and I were stuck in a bog when a beautiful green dragon came gliding down out of the sky. It was about the size of a small horse. Dagbar thought we should call it the small horse-sized dragon, but I told him not to be stupid. That was just before it carried him away. I've renamed it the Great Dagbar-Eating Dragon for obvious reasons. Slante Bjorn. That was all this letter here. Now we're going to read this. It was renamed the Emerald Dragon in recent years, and that's credited to the editor. Here we can see that that's in Ireland, and that's the size of a small horse. So, anyways, also says Plate 2. Emerald Dragon, immature. Up to the age of 13, the young emerald dragon is vulnerable to attack from a range of stinging insects due to its fragile, almost translucent skin. However, as the dragon matures, its pyroprojectile ability emerges as an effective deterrent to most adversaries. In this scene, the ill-advised Coconose bee zeroes in on an adolescent dragon unaware of its imminent demise. Yeah, there we go. And again, we have some stuff here. Now we're just going to pan over these. And Dagbar probably got eaten. Yep. Okay. And we'll read this one now. This is more cursive that I translated. So, I say translate because it's difficult for me to read cursive handwriting, so I didn't want to have to struggle over it while I was recording. So I did copy all this on a word processor program, Notepad, and emailed it to myself. Next we have Bjorn, the Dragon Man, again spelled D-R-A-G-Y-N, For all your dragon-related needs, inquiries, P.O. Box 2, Valhalla Meadows, Norway, to Olaf, the extremely bad-tempered, 33 Viking Way, Valhalla Meadows, Norway, Britain, SW, probably South Wales, 4th of May, AD 857. Says, Dear Olaf, okay, wait, let's take a look at this dragon here. Sorry for the glare on the book. Thanks for yours, 7th of January, 57. I really do think you're getting this all out of proportion. I realize you need the boat for other voyages of destruction, but I'm sure that we will be back well before the first raid of the new year. At least we finally made it to Britain, though looting and pillaging seems to be out of the question. Anyways, all our swords and clubs are back in Ireland. They sank in the bog like poor old Sen and Bryn. That's spelled C-E-N-N and B-R-Y-N. Sen and Bryn, I believe. Did I tell you about that last time? That left just Sigurd, Jorgen, and me. The good news is, I found another dragon. I'm beginning to think I've got a real knack for this line of work. We went off on a bit of a jaunt. Sigurd had been thinking about burning a village or two further up the coast, for old time's sake, when we were hit by a terrible smell coming from a cave in a cliff above us. I sent Jorgen up to investigate. He was a good man, poor Jorgen, but a bit clumsy when it came to climbing, as it turned out. Sigurd and me waited until the Welsh Red Dragon, what lived in the cave, I've called it that on account of it being Welsh and red, had finished with Jorgen. Then we crept up for a quick look inside. The cave was full of armor and swords, fabulous riches, but somehow I felt they were best left alone. Let sleeping dragons lie, I say, especially this ugly brute. I know you're not going to be too pleased about this, Olaf, but me and Sigurd thought we might just pop down to Portugal and Spain since we are over this way, catch some rays, then head across to the south of Gaul for the summer. Good luck with the rampage. I'll be thinking of you. Cheers, Bjorn. And so that was another one. And that was all that text right there. The letters I think the next letter is really short. But yeah, I just love the art in this book. It's just amazing. It says the name Welsh Red Dragon was actually quite appropriate and remained until the present day. Okay, that's according to the editor. Now, we are going to first of all look at this map. It's kind of big. That's kind of a big dragon. Okay, Welsh Red Dragon, an uncompromisingly bad-tempered brute. The Welsh Red is a compulsive hoarder, often of useless things like old prams of 6-month-old computers. Oh, like old prams or 6-month-old computers, but sometimes of genuine treasure such as gold, jewelry, and out-of-print Australian children's books. Okay, I'm sure there's some kind of stuff there. I see a flag there too, and that's cool. That looks like a pirate flag. Cool. Okay. So anyways, I'm just going to scroll around this picture. Maybe we can pick something up. Because I know that Graeme, or Greasebeam in this case, likes to hide things. That reminds me of the Roman eagle. You know, in the Percy Jackson series, it was like the 7th Legion's thing. It had power to shoot lightning out of it or something. Anyways, here we go. This was the... there was Sen and Bryn. They died. Then they sailed over to Britain. They thought about looting and pillaging, but then they saw the dragon, and Jorgen fell down the cliff, got eaten. So they snuck in, and they're like, nope, not going to mess with it. Okay, and we got time for one more, I think. And again, even the letterhead here I have transcribed on my tablet here. Bjorn the Great, Dragon Slayer, retired, Dragon Lore expert, and championship beach volleyball exponent, Maison de Bjorn, 879 Rue Solaire, Trey, Nice, Gaul, to Olaf the Glum and resigned, manager, Rodsnoot, Reindeer Farm, Hammerfest, Norway, south of Gaul, 1st of May, AD 853. Dear Olaf, It says right here. How are things in freezing Norway? Glad to hear the reindeer business is working out. Sorry I missed the first roundup, but the beaches down here are just sensational. Sigurd's taken over the role of great explorer now. I've gone into retirement. Think of maybe publishing a book about my adventures. I'm going to call it Bjorn Dragon Slayer. Has a good commercial ring to it, don't you think? I heard Sigurd discovered a dragon in northern Spain a year or so ago, a really big one with lots of teeth and rows of precious stones all down its sides. Sigurd has decided to stay on in Spain indefinitely. Well, I assume he is staying on, seeing as he's inside the dragon now. He always was a one for precious stones. He always was one for precious stones. Good old Sigurd. Anyways, must fly. The finals of the beach volleyball competition start in an hour or so, and I've got just enough time for a quick dip first. Au revoir, your relaxed and tanned cousin Bjorn. Okay. And, let's see. It says Sigurd the Svede named the discovery the great big dragon with lots of sharp teeth and heaps of precious stones. However, in the Middle Ages, when it was identified as the dragon that had the famous run-in with St. George of England, it was changed accordingly. Editor. Plate 4. St. George Dragon. Most maligned of the unpleasant business concerning St. George of England, the St. George Dragon is in fact a gentle giant, more at ease with a pile of cabbage than a knight on horseback, whilst younger, more boisterous members of the species may be tempted to indulge in a juicy portion of peasant every now and then. Mature St. George dragons are almost entirely vegetarian and can most commonly be seen in the remote parts of Andalusia, lying in wait for passing grocery trucks. And we're going to take a close look at this. It's probably one of the few vegetarian dragons. I do love the art here. And then we're probably going to wrap it up here because we're at the end of the chapter. So, okay, we're doing this in the wrong sequence. Okay. Oh, there's the reindeer farm. Olaf with all of the reindeer. And then there's Bjorn. And then apparently Sigurd got eaten. And then there's the competition. Okay. And then in the next episode, we will be talking about Asiatic dragons. And those are typically wingless dragons, which fly by the power of magic. But yeah, that will do it for this episode. This has been a reading from The Discovery of Dragons, new research revealed by Graeme, a.k.a. Rowland W. Greasebeam, BSc. He has a degree in serpentology. And there's that sticker there, includes North American dragons. If you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe and ring the bell so you know when I upload. And as always, I appreciate any and all support. All that will be in the description below. And thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.